In this video, we're going to be learning some more C++, so let's get started. So getting started, I've already included everything, so you're going to need all, I just want, like I discussed in the last video, how you should just copy and paste all of this before you start writing your code, because it just makes everything a lot easier. You can just, you don't have to worry about including stuff, so I'm just going to use namespace std. Just so we don't have to write std before we write our code. So I'm going to start off with while loops. So we left off last video with for loops, so I'm just going to do while loops in this video, or I'm going to start the video off with while loops. So a while loop is the format is similar. First, we're going to declare a variable. I'm going to do int a is equal to 0. Right, and a while loop, so the while loop format is the same as the for loop. You do while and then curly braces, and inside the parentheses we are going to do while a is less than or equal to 10, and while it's true, we're going to do cout a and then new line, and then the while loop will be infinite if I don't do a equals a plus 1, which you just need to put the variable and then equals a variable plus 1. And if you don't do this, you'll get an infinite loop, because this is a while loop, and this basically just adds 1 every time, so it prints out the list of numbers as desired. So basically, I'm not going to give an example without removing the a equals a plus 1, because that's going to it might crash the IDE. So we're just going to do it like this. So if I run the while loop, we should get a set of, alright, 0 to 10. Alright, so we're going to move on. I'm going to create a break line. Alright, and L. Alright, so we're going to move on to some data structures. So vectors. Now the vector is one of my favorite data structures in C++. So to make a vector, you first type in vector, and then you put the data type. So we're going to do an integer vector. So we would do vector int, and the variable name, which I'll just do in this case integer, and a semicolon. And now we have a vector. So right now we have a vector, but the vector is empty. It doesn't have any values in it. So to add values to a vector, you just do integer dot push back, and then the value, which I'll put in a 1 semicolon, and or actually we're gonna do 2. We'll do 2, and we're gonna add some more values. So push back 3, and if I do integer dot push back 4. Alright, so now we have a vector with the values 2, 3, and 4. Now to take out something from a vector, we do cout the variable name integer, and then the index. So if we want to get back, let's say you want to get back 3, I type in the first index. So the index are 0, 1, and 2. So I type in 1, and then end L. Alright, so let's print this and see what we get. Or let's run it, see what we get. So as you can see, we got 3 because that's on the first index of the vector. So you can also use iterators. So in Iterator, to get the iterator going, you can just type in auto and then the variable name. So I'm just gonna do auto OK is equal to, so to get like the beginning element of vector, you can just use an iterator. Auto OK, the variable name, whatever you want to name it, I'll just name it OK, is equal to, and then we'll do integer dot begin. Now what this does is it takes the beginning, so it'll take 2 in this case, and we can just do a cout. And to do the cout, you have to do an asterisk, which is a multiplication sign, and then OK. and then we'll obviously do endl. And iterators are super useful. I use them all the time, so that'll give the beginning. And you can do this with the end. You can do lots of things with iterators. Pretty cool. Okay, so now I want to move on to arrays. Now arrays, another data structure which I don't use a lot, but it's still good that you know what int. So I'm going to do int b. So when you have an array, you first do the data type int. So obviously arrays is mainly integers. You won't use it for anything else. Well, I don't use it for anything else. Let's see, you want int b, and then you have to choose a size. So in this case, I'll do a 4 as a size, and then over here we use curly braces, and then I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the limit. And but if I do a 5, it'll give me an error message stating that excess elements in array initializer, because the initializer is to 4. If I switch the initializer to 5, the error goes away. So we're gonna do a 4. So yeah, alright. So then now the array is initialized to 4, and we have an array. So to do something with this array, let's say you wanted to get back something. So if you want to get back something, let's say you wanted the first element or the first index, so the second element. So cout b1, and then we do endl. There we go. So that will basically take out elements from the array, and we got back 2 because that's the first element. Now we're going to end the video with another data structure, which is maps. Now maps, this is probably the most used data structure that I use because maps are extremely useful. So maps basically help you map one thing to another. So let's say I want to map a character to an integer. That's how I'd write it. And then char int, I'm just put, and then I do the variable, which I'm going to do as maps, and semicolon. So now we have a map. Now to actually map things to other things, we're mapping a character to an integer. So I do maps, and then C, that we're mapping C to integer 6. And that's how you would map it. And I would map D, which is a character, to an integer 5. And now we have some maps. So if I'm going to do a cout, an output of maps, and then if I do C and L, the desired output is 6 because C is mapped to 6 in this program. So if I run this, we should get back 6, which we have gotten back 6, which tells us that our program is working. Alright, so that's part 2 of C++. Hopefully this video was helpful, and yeah.